somehow, somewhere.
Well, the one
They
would have
have
thought
to.
so, but then in light of the seemingly unending acts of terrorism there, I mean, it's become quite clear that the intelligence machineries of the different government agencies who are responsible for the security in those provinces, the quality of the intelligence hasn't really been that good, you see. I mean, we've been hearing the stories, reports along the line that there are different groups of mainly new generation terrorists, separatists, younger generations, and who are many of whom have been trained overseas and have returned to serve as sort of unit leaders.
Right.
And they subsequently trained the local youngsters. We're talking about mainly young people here. We're not talking about the old generation, the separatists from the era of the so-called PULO, the Patani PULO, United Liberation Organization. That's the age-old separatist organization, which has become, I would say, more or less powerless. So I think that since January of 2004, these acts of terrorism that have been undertaken by a new breed, by a new generation of very violent, very extreme radicals. Who are, I understand, many of whom have been educated or have been indoctrinated, overseas by extremist, international and regional Muslim organizations, movements,
But it sounds like it should be
I think that they operate in different small cells,
right,
independently of each other, and that's why they don't seem to know. I mean, who are the real masters, of this whole operation.
It's like the same unit carry every unit carry the same mission, but just carry out their own operation
in certain areas. So
each small unit
is
assigned one particular task. Okay.
Right, but with the same grand mission.
I mean, there's one grand plan
with the goal,
but comprising of different units, which carry out their specific designated missions.
Isn't it amazing that 7 years nothing get better?
Well, it is very amazing, and again, it goes to show, I mean, how efficient or how inefficient our overall intelligence apparatus has been. I think it's something which once again, I mean, as and when there's a resurgence of such violence, and in this particular case, I mean, it's a very sad case, a very shocking case of the slaughtering of this married teachers couple,
innocent people,
the husband and wife who are both teachers in the Narathiwat province early just in the morning, and I mean, this is very sad because they left behind 3 daughters.
Kids, yeah, right.
3 daughters, and the 3 daughters, I mean, are at the complete loss as to what do they do next. They're still in schooling, The eldest is 24, and the eldest is doing her master's degree at the local university. Yeah, the youngest is, I think, in the junior high school. So I mean, this is very, very shocking, and that's why, I mean, one understands as to why the Federation of the Southern Teachers have decided to stage a kind of boycott, you call it, by closing the schools in Narathiwat province for 3 days. It begs for some serious action on the part of the government.
Right.
Once
yes,
again.
right. A group of teachers, representatives of teachers have come out to demand measures from the government. Is there any way that the government can do to resolve the matter?
Well, it is part of the overall security threat. It's part of the overall security crisis. This has been going on for almost 7 years now, as we have been discussing just now. And that somehow I mean, from here, us in Bangkok, look at the situation down there and as and when possible, trying to, get the latest reading from our contacts down in the south. I mean, again, I mean, the initial impression has been that, again, I mean, although the number of incidents has gone down, I mean, from the statistics, in the year of 2007, That was the height of in terms of the numbers of incidents involving attacks, drive-by shootings, arsoning, bombings, and even some cases of beheading. In the year 2007, that was the peak year, so to say, involving 2,475 different separate incidents of violence.
Right.
Although the number has gone down. I mean, I don't have the latest this year, but I think it's gone down by less than half this year. Still, I mean, you have occasionally you have a resurgence of shocking attacks of like the killing of the two teachers. You see. So again, I mean, one has to ask the same question over and over again as to what are the authorities doing down there? Why is it that they still have not been able to get their acts together, especially in terms of improving upon on their intelligence quality, you see.
Right.
I mean, they have to before staging any attack. I mean, that they have to do some preparations.
Right.
Like in this,
they have
the
to
most
plan it
recent,
out.
the most recent series of 30 different incidents on the single night. This past Sunday night, you see, they have to make plans. They have to make preparations. They have to involve a lot of people here. But why is it that these still went ahead, and happened, and the authorities seem to be sort of left helpless. Again, I mean these are shocking incidents which every time an incident of this nature happens, I mean it makes for more and tougher questioning as to why the military authorities have not been able to put the situation under control, despite the fact of enormous budgets that have been allocated, have been spent for this very purpose.
Right. Kun Paisal, the latest we heard from the Prime Minister about the T-shirted protests in the South, he said he's going to send down Education Minister Shinawat Bunyakiat to hear the problems and then come back to him with the result. What else do you think the Education Minister will have to hear more from the South?
Well, I don't think the Education Minister, will be able to do much. And talking about Bangkok government sending ministers down to the south, every time there's any shocking attack, I mean this becomes so familiar. In the past, whenever there's any violent attacks, you saw. You girls recall you have Kun Suthep Teosuban.
Yes.
I mean the deputy PM in charge of security would fly down south, accompanied by the army commander Kun Anupong Pachinda. They have made so many of such trips, But again, I mean, has the situation improved? They will claim yes, that the number has gone down. The number of incidents has gone down. Like Suthep today also made the same claim. But again, I mean, although the number of incidents might have gone down, but then the shocking nature of any new attacks, I mean, remain as bad, if not worse than before. So I mean, I think they have to. I've said this, umpteen times before. I've said it
right.
again. They have to redouble their efforts. I mean, something has gone wrong, and that something wrong has to be corrected so that we can expect to see better results.
Yes, let's keep our finger crossed for the situation to get better.
I mean, one hope may lie in this new restructuring, of the overall supervision of the security arrangement down there, because under the new budget, which is now being debated, and it has been passed by Senate today, and I think that will coincide, with the restructuring of the overall security supervision system down there, whereby I think that there'll be much of the powers, at least about half of the power, will transfer, from the hands of ISOC. The military-run ISOC to the civilian organization. Something that was done previously under the General Prem Tinsulanon's administration, way back, the so-called, in time we call it the SOBOT, which is a Border Provinces Administration Center.
Right.
So let's say that if this change will bring about some improvement or not.
Well, Khun Paisan, that's all the time we have. But
Okay.
let's hope the power and money fall into the right hand that can change and make something better
Let's
pretty
hope so
soon.
too. Yeah.
Let's hope. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
for
and I
tonight.
guess
You are
we'll see
welcome.
you again tomorrow.
ครับสวัสดีครับ
สวัส
สวัสดี
ดีค่ะ
ค่ะ